Labour's £10,000 buy-to-let landlord's nightmare. Ed Miliband has been added again at Labour Party conference. He's made some announcements, which again is seesawing around on this EPC issue. It's going to cost some landlords £10,000 to upgrade their properties. In this video, I'll take you through what exactly the changes are and what help there is for you guys as well. So if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon. We put out 3 videos each and every week, all dedicated to keeping you on top of your property investing game. Now, I'm no fan of Ed Miliband. He is a climate zealot who is likely to bankrupt the UK. He is fundamentalist on this stuff, with the emphasis on the word mentalist and less on the word fun. So what's been happening? I mean, first we get told that all buy-to-let properties in the UK need to conform to EPC C rating. And this all had to happen by 2030. But the thing is, these upgrades can be very, very costly. Now, the thing is, when this was first announced, a lot of landlords actually went ahead and did some of these works. But as time marched on, it did become apparent that there's no way that all properties are going to be upgraded by that aggressive timescale. Particularly older properties, cheaper properties, the ones up north where they are sort of, pre-Edwardian, Victorian, where they don't have cavity wall constructions and all of that. These are hugely expensive to bring up to EPC C rating. And of course the Conservatives, remember them? Remember Rishi Sunak? These guys actually announced a U-turn on this mad policy.
Current plans, some property owners would have been forced to make expensive upgrades in just 2 years' time. For a semi-detached house in Salisbury, you could be looking at a bill of £8,000. And even if you're only renting, you'll more than likely see some of that passed on in higher rents. That's just wrong. So those plans will be scrapped.
So we're playing seesaw again. First it's on, Rishi Sunak says it's off, now Ed Miliband says he's back on again. Now, I'm no fan of this climate zealot. Here he is coming out of a private jet and stepping into a Range Rover car. Of course, he's well known for not practicing what he preaches. As he confesses here, he doesn't even have an electric car.
We're not seeing it at the moment. Government needs to step up.
I presume you've got one.
I haven't yet. It's a work in progress.
What? Practice what you preach.
So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. He's saying that all rented property needs to be upgraded so it's C rating EPC by 2030. Now, he's headlining some grants that are available. Up to £30,000 is the headline, but there are some ifs and buts. First of all, they're saying that these grants are going to be targeted at older properties and they're going to be postcode dependent. So if you've got a Victorian house in Chelsea, forget it. I don't think you're going to get it there. They've also said that priority will go to landlords with tenants on low incomes or on benefits. On top of that, further criteria on the grants are that you can get £30,000 of grant funding to help you upgrade your property if you are a landlord with just one buy-to-let property. If you have more than one buy-to-let property, then you'll only get 50% funding on those additional properties. As usual with anything that comes out of Ed Miliband's mouth, it's very, very poorly thought out. Now, what do you think about these proposals? Let me know in the comments below. How are you going to react to them? Also, like and subscribe, hit the bell icon for further updates as this story unfolds. Now, there ain't that much time until 2030. There are huge challenges out there in terms of who is going to do all these upgrade works. There are chronic labour shortages out there in the construction industry, so there are going to be significant challenges when it comes to that. Now, these rules are not applicable to owner-occupiers, and for that reason we may see some landlords say, look, I don't have the capital to upgrade these properties, and I certainly don't want to evict the tenants and make the properties empty and have no cash flow coming in while I do those works. So there will be people that will be looking at selling up those properties that are just too costly and unviable to upgrade. Now, we've done some videos elsewhere on the Renters' Rights Bill, and in that bill there are fixed rules for obtaining possession of a property. Like, for instance, if you want to sell the property, if the tenant has been there 12 months with 4 months notice, you'll be able to get your property back. The question I have is that what happens if these upgrades require you to get possession back of the property? Not all of these upgrades will be possible with the tenant in situ. So I don't think this has been thought out. There ain't that much time to go. There are a lot of properties that will need upgrading. The people aren't necessarily there to do it. In some cases, landlords may not be adequately funded to actually do the works. It's basically a very, very blunt grant type system, which sounds as though many landlords will get absolutely nothing. There's not even any kind of government loan available or anything like that. You've just got to fund that capital outlay. Now, I think this is ill thought out on so many levels. There's not any real compelling research that this will make a dramatic difference. There is research out there that talks about the effects of living in a home that is very well insulated. And what they've found is that after a couple of years, people's energy consumption goes pretty much back to the same level as it was. The reason being is that in a warmer insulated home, people get used to that warmth, they wear less clothes, they walk around in their t-shirts, and it doesn't actually save that much in the end. Now, the big issue is going to be in older properties here, particularly ones that were built before 1930 odd, when they didn't have cavity walls, they had solid brick construction, and those will have to be insulated. There are insulation options where you can put external insulation on the outside of the building and then render it all white. But this obviously won't be possible in conservation areas. In those sort of areas, you'll have to put that insulation on the inside. And that means applying insulated plasterboard to the inside walls and then replastering. And that is quite expensive, it's quite disruptive, and the tenants cannot remain in occupation while that work is happening. Anyway, that's all for this update. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon for more updates like this. Tell me what you think in the comments below. See you guys next time. The Baker Street Property Meet is the UK's largest and #1 property investors networking event. The property market is going through monumental change right now, and at Baker Street Property Meet we aim to keep you up to date with the latest tips and tricks and insider tactics to help you keep on top of your property investing game and succeed in these troubled economic times. The Baker Street Property Meet is fundamentally about networking, because it's not what you know, it's who you know. And at Baker Street we aim to connect you with the people to make your property journey a monumental success. There's no better place to be to further your property investment journey than the Baker Street Property Meet. So make sure you're here, you're connecting with myself and Andrew Roberts, our expert guest speakers, and 300 passionate property people each and every month. See you at the next meet. Get your spot at bakerstreetpropertymeet.com.